Well, let's have it down. Mark what it could have done. Win, we are win election. Win, we are win election. Oh, turn my lord, 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 turn my lord. Election. Mark what it could have done. Win, we are win election. Win, we are win election. And let's have it down. Mark what it could have done. Win, we are win election. Win, we are win election.
Greetings, every single body out there. How are you doing? Welcome back to the Steady Show. Man, I was about a minute late a while ago, so I hope y'all can forgive me. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, man, we're going to have a good conversation this evening as we talk about the PNP experiment. The PNP experiment has been a problem in Jamaica for the longest while, and we're going to talk about it. Let me greet some people right now. Anthony C. Mister, big up yourself, same way. Simone, Kaz, big up yourself, same way. Everybody that is there, go ahead and let me know who is there right now. Everybody know that I always start on time, but I cut it very close tonight. I was about like a minute late. I'm telling you, it's so easy to make promises, but it's the fulfillment of promises that matter. You get what I'm saying? So let's big up some more people, man. So who is this now? Glow Shake, I believe that's what I'm seeing right there, so. And I'm seeing Whitborn, Elements Grill, Mary P in the building. As usual, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and double tap on your screen. Hit the like button. Let me know who's there right now. Let's try this again. Because I was wondering what was happening a while ago. Let's try this again. All right, so that speaker out there, so it's kicking out already. No problems with that. We are going to continue. It doesn't matter. We are going to continue. So, family, we are going to talk about this PNP experiment. Now, some of you may have seen that speech by Juliet. It was in the paper yesterday, Nationwide News, where Juliet spoke about how she spoke with two individuals. One said they're going to vote, another said they're not going to vote. And, she said, we can't afford to go back to the days of the PNP experiment. So some people still saying good night. Some people like Paulette saying good night, Lynette saying good night, Miss Hottie saying shower, Janet Mangle saying shower good night. So tonight we're going to just hold a reasoning in our family because I want to talk about this PNP experiment here. Hit the like button right now. Make sure you share the video. Let me pull up the chat. Come on. Third term. Donna, big up yourself. Millicent, big up yourself. Everybody, Black Obsidian. Remember to hit the like button. Real talk. Show up. And Jonas had it down. Mark Wally could have done. Win, we are win election. Win, we are win election. And Jonas, best prime minister. Best prime minister, third term, and all these good things. Let me pull up the chat right now. So, family, let's have an honest conversation about this PNP experiment right now. Yesterday, family, let me just turn this down because I'm echoing. Let's have an honest conversation about this PNP experiment. What's going on? What's going on right here? Yesterday, Sorry about that. Let me mute this. Good. That's muted. I just need to be able to see the comments as I go along. Yeah, man. So big up everybody. Andrea Shaw, big up everybody, right? So this PNP experiment. So Juliet Holness, she mentioned the PNP experiment. And if you notice, I use the term analyzing the detriment, analyzing the detriment of the PNP experiment. Now, analyzing, so we're going to pick apart and we're going to look at, essentially, we're going to look at the damage that PNP has done to this country, right? In the name of experiment. They never said it was, but when we look in the history, that's the only thing we can conclude. And we're going to look at the experiment from the days of Michael Manley experimenting with democratic socialism, right? And something that they call sloganism, right? The sloganism is better must come, forward together, power to the people. Anybody remember those? Yeah? Father Power in the building, big up same way. Right? Anybody remember those? So if you remember any more that Manley used to use, you can talk about it. But essentially, today I was talking to my wife and I said, you know, it's crazy how this politics thing starts in Jamaica, and not how it starts, but just critical things, just looking at critical things. So let's go to, you know, Manley, Norman Manley started the party, his son took over, and my historians are here, they'll always correct me. So what? Bustamante and Norman Manley, they were cousins. So by the time Norman Manley got, you know, through with the whole situation, here comes Michael Manley. So it's almost as if how the whole politics started in Jamaica with them people that belonging to that side. You understand me? It's almost like for them, it was a family affair, you know. One set of ideals over there, so one set of ideals over here. So, and we, the people, the descendants of slaves coming out of colonialism, being new to everything, not having any political savvy, we're caught in the middle of this, right? I hear Simone saying Joshua. We even came and we call Manley Joshua, right? So Manley came on the scene, and as we said, the sloganism was there. The experiment with democratic socialism, wanting to bridge the divide between the upper class and the lower class, and wanting to create this ideal society, and went far left, you understand me, developed the relationship with Cuba, strained the relationship with the USA, and we know that a whole lot of things came out there. Accusations on the left, accusations on the right, but it was experimentalism for Manley. It was a detriment. It was an experiment for him. Because while Manley was there talking about, you know, the comrade leader must be humble and walk with the people and so on, he was doing all of this stuff, uplifting and making the black man feel good about himself. Yeah. And yesterday somebody put in my comment section that if you look at the last speech of Michael Manley, you will see where it's almost as if what Andrew Holness is doing right now, it's the fulfillment of Michael Manley's vision, right? That's that person's belief, right? It's the fulfillment of it. And while we're not going to come here and we're not going to knock Michael Manley for the things he tried, whether he had the best intentions or not. You understand me? I said to you, whether he had the best intentions or not, it really was an experiment. Because when you think about it, Manley didn't go through, Manley's father never went through what our fathers went through. Manley did not go through our experiences. Manley, maybe the closest Manley got to really live in the reality is the woman he married, Beverly Manley. And we know that she had a lot to say as well about what happens, right? But there was that era, and we have to judge what happens, and we have to judge how effective and successful something or someone is by the results that is produced. Am I right or am I wrong, people? We have to look at the net result of what was produced out of Manley's intentions. And somebody say he had the best of intentions, but he had no experience. I take that point. Let me just get this thing up and running. Remember, you can talk to me, and I think one of the things I might do is that I might open the line and I might take some calls as well. But let me just lay the foundation for this conversation. Mr. Francis, good night. Orville, big up yourself same way. Right? We cannot judge how successful somebody is by their intentions. How much people go to school like Michael Phillips? I'm sure I said Michael Phillips being Peter Phillips' son, he would have wanted to come out with 10 subjects or even more, but we hear say I want him get. We don't know if it's true or not, right? But your intentions do not equate your results. We have to look at the results. So when we look at Manley's results, we cannot say that Manley was the best prime minister that Jamaica has ever seen. No, we can give it to him. He probably was the best orator. Manley was the best talker. Somebody said one subject, one big kill, right? He was the best talker. We know that Manley had that going for him. So it was an experiment. So when I hear Juliet Holness talking about the PNP experiment, the experiment has been tried and failed. Everybody know what an experiment is. You understand me? You embark on a journey to figure out if something works or if it doesn't work. And we know that because by the time Manley won the election in 1989, right? And by that time and the time that he got ill and had to, step down, you understand me? By that time, Manley would have learned that he made a lot of mistakes in the 70s, right? Because of how he positioned himself, wanting to go to the mountaintop with Cuba and all of this kind of stuff while Jamaica suffers, right? So that was a failed experiment, and we have to say it. But if you listen to Manley's speeches and you listen to the vision and the thing that Manley was able to put on paper, right? Then we could say that Manley did some good things, but we cannot say Manley was so great because Manley's results made Jamaicans go to bed hungry at nights. That's not what great leaders do. Right? Ricardo, pick up yourself same way. Let me see who else is talking to me. Manley had some good things like NHT, right? The maternity leave thing, we give that to him all the time, right? The whole, you understand me, recognition of children born outside of wedlock, not looking at them as bastards or anything like that. We understand that. And it's okay that coming out of colonialism, those people were good to run the thing during those times. But we move on from there. So everything has a process and a progression. We move on. So he used the whole better must come, even though Jamaica was doing well in the 60s and so on, right? When he came into 1972, he came with all this philosophy and all these things that he wanted to do. All of that stuff failed, right? So then the Siaga came in the 80s. And what did Siaga do? Something very much different, right? It was not about the oratorical skills so much or who could talk better. But Siaga had genuine skills. You understand me? He knew how to build things. And that came right out of the 60s same way. Bustamante and all of those guys. You understand me? Did well as it relates to the economy. Now, I'm going to talk through this and then I'm going to go to any phone calls. You understand me? So that was that experiment, right? The better must come, all of that stuff. Right? Siaga came in. What happens now in 1989? Manley came back. You understand me? Convinced the people. And we know all of the stuff that went on, the 80 election and all of that. You understand me? We know all of that. We're not going to go through. As I say, we're analyzing what happened. We're not so much digging into the history of what happened. We're analyzing the situation as we go along. Father Power soon call you. Not just yet. Right? We're not going to dig. Father Paul, I'll call you back soon. Let me just dig through this first, right? So, the 80s took place. Siaga did well, and then Hurricane Gilbert came, and that created some problems for us, right? But the Jamaican people miscalculated, and the Jamaican people decided, say, them going to give Michael Manley another chance, right? Well, Michael Manley couldn't live out that term. or it could have continued throughout that term. But then what happens? You understand me? PJ entered the scene. Now, PJ, all he did was he built on an experiment that Michael Manley already started. Better must come, forward together, power to the people, all of that stuff. PJ came, and even though Manley was from that race or over there, so PJ came and PJ said what? A black man time now. When PJ came up with the whole idea of black man time now, it sounded good to the black man in a Jamaica who needed that upliftment. Jamaicans loved the idea of PJ Patterson being on the scene. PJ looked like we. You understand me? I said PJ darker than most of we. You understand? PJ came on the scene. He looked like us. And PJ knew he was a slick talker. Right? PJ knew that. And we know that the labor rights, they were making their own set of mistakes. We went through that history. But the point I'm making is that I want to look at the legacy of PNP politics. Just looking at snippets from different parts of history. Right? PJ said black man time. No, but nobody did more damage to upcoming Jamaicans, hard-working Jamaicans, people who were building up the country and who were doing well, the business people. You understand me? PJ's legacy became it culminated into what Ronnie Tweeds called the worst transfer, and them just call it transfer, but it's really the worst. On one hand, destruction of wealth, and in a lot of ways, it really is theft of wealth. But the thing with PNP is that PNP always know how to legally take away people money, right? That is why this party is so dangerous, you know. That's why they have so much lawyers and so on over there. So PJ, under PJ, black man time now, it really was the black man time to destroy black wealth and black people. Lives were lost under that administration, right? 44,000 businesses went down. People lost their lives. Yeah? All of that stuff. Again, PJ had the sloganism going for him. Weaponized the black man time now thing against Siaga. Right? He had that going for him. So we had personality politics with Manley. And then we end up back in a personality politics with PJ. Right? Portia, not to be outdone, came on the scene. Weaponized gender. Woman time now. You understand me? Populism, politics. That was Portia's thing. And Portia was a fireball. And however they did, they found ways to win election. So, listen. We are all the way up to Portia right now. From way down in the 70s and up to now. We don't identify any PNP. PJ run that 18.5 stretch alone. Portia came after. You understand me? I say, ran all of that stretch in the politics. Yet, we still haven't identified a PNP prime minister or leader who built up the Jamaican economy and who put us into a place of prosperity. So this whole fight now about, who is the best prime minister of all times and Ray, and nobody wants to take it from Michael Manley and give it to Andrew Holness, but Andrew Holness gets the results. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, how are we measuring our leaders? How are we measuring their performance? Because Manley could not have produced what Andrew is producing today. PJ couldn't do it in twice as much the time. Portia never did it. But she probably did a little better than them for a while, because by this, they had to have some kind of discipline. Right? But what we're trying to say now is that now that we come out of the Manley experiment, the PJ experiment, right? Then the PJ experiment, the Portia experiment, the Bangarang start to the PNP. Peter Phillips was a casualty of his own miscalculations And I'm not talking about the taxes that he was not able to calculate, his own political miscalculations. Going after Portia, going after Andrew Holness's house. Again, came on a tradition where there is no performance. So Peter Phillips he could go back to PJ and say, PJ did this well and we're going to continue. He had none of that. Right? So the demagogues in the party now, which is Bunting and Golden, them look at him and say, no, Peter Phillips can't win nothing. And we know that now represented a split. Somebody saying facts, thank you. That now represented a split in what PNP still a turnaround now and them a call, Rise United, because we know that history, they tried to build that and it didn't really work. But what we're saying is that Mark Golden and Peter Bunting, they are just the great-grandparent. They're just a great-grandparent. They are great-great-great-grandparent them of Michael Manley. Right? They are one big family. Don't make no mistake about it. It's the same bad politics, no policies, and whatever. So them forward different now. Because remember, Mark Golden, them relationship with Omar Davies broke down the whole of Jamaica. High interest rate policy. FinSAC came in. Peter Bunting, Mark Golden, and for them people, them get rich out of the whole thing. You understand me? So now them feel entitled to forward on the scene and come run Jamaica. And in spite of what we know about how they became wealthy and how it was our own people's backs that they got all this money on, you understand me? High interest rates, wouldn't sell back people them houses, sell up them business, them share up them business, them sell business to overseas, literally destroyed the entire Jamaica PNP experiment. So when they came with the whole thing about mop up liquidity, raise up high interest rate because they want to control inflation and they want to make everything bad, everything worse. The meltdown that we went through. That is what took us so long to build back Jamaica under Dr. Andrew Holness. You understand me? We build back all of that under Dr. Andrew Holness. So here we are today. PNP in the form now of the risers, Mark Golden, Peter Bunting, and all of them. Here they are on the scene, trying now to convince us that the JLP is corrupt, trying to convince us that the country isn't moving forward, trying to convince us that they would do a better job in leading Jamaica than this Jamaica Labour Party. And the people who lived through the 70s, right? And you saw what happened when Siaga forward in the 80s. And the people who lived through the 90s and who want to live under Portia, you see the videos circulating about what's happening in a Brownburg constituency. We just get one away. Everywhere that PNP run is characterized by one thing: lack of development. And one key thing, lack of development. And a couple of other things: poverty, lack of development, poverty. You understand me? Taxpayers' dollars being used for their own purposes. So when Juliet Holness went out, and one of the things she talked about is the fact that when PNP people in her constituency, when they saw how well she worked and how different she was from the PNP them who used to run them area there, PNP people decide that they are going to stay home on election day, because even though them not going to vote for JLP, they are going to stay home because they have said, no, based on all the work that has been done, we cannot in all good conscience vote for the PNP anymore. Anybody hear the lady them down at Majestic Gardens where they talk and say, if I even want counselor, right? So if you're a PNP, one of the things I want to say to you is this: listen, if you vote for politicians who do not develop your communities, you vote for people who do not develop your communities. You cannot blame that on the JLP. You cannot blame how you vote on anybody else but yourself. You understand me? I said to you. No, I'm going to ask some of y'all, go ahead, double tap your screen, hit the like button right now. So that is what we're talking about. So when we talk about the PNP experiment, what we're dealing with now, we're dealing with what you call political demagoguery. It simply means to say the politicians, they are not operating on any kind of moral code, bunting and goal in them. It's not about morality for them. It's not about developing country. It's all about taking the reins of power, and whatsoever they have to do. If they have to lie to the people to get power, they will lie. Whatever they got to do, they will do. But we're saying PNP gave birth to that kind of politics. Let me talk to you now. PNP gave birth to the politics of party before country. PNP did that. And I can tell you, JLP, like Andrew Holness say, JLP will hold you accountable. To work in PNP, then I have no expectations. Give them a shirt. You understand me? Give them a shirt or anything and them good to go. But before I let anybody else in, I want to warn labor rights. Labor rights. A lot of labor rights have a tradition, you know, whenever them have a problem, then decide to then now go vote. A lot of labor rights, they have a tradition. When them ready, them beg to the MP so they now vote. And let's also talk about the labor rights who, because you have a problem, you decide so you want to give the other side a try. By the way, that was what Juliet was basing her argument on. One person said, you know, I'm definitely going to go out and vote. And the other one say, let's give the other side a try. Jamaica, I'm telling you this right now. Gone are the days when we can talk about give other side a try. Now, notice, big up in the MDL and big up everybody, right? Notice, PNP, them not switch sides that easily. Or only labor rights alone, because it's like labor rights, a lot of times labor rights don't understand that PNP is really a cult. PNP is the kind of party that, you understand me, it's a win for them. Share up money, give the people them who are, you know, on the ground and who are suffering, give them a little something, and not everybody is getting it anyway, and then brainwash the people them to look at labor rights like dirty labor rights, and they don't vote for them. So, we are saying to people who live overseas, right? You know overseas are run right now. We are saying, you have to understand that, and what I just did a while ago is a crash course. Because everybody know that we could spend one whole show, a series talking about the 70s and all that went wrong. We could do it with the 90s. We can talk about it, but we know that these are realities that we face on the PNP. So what we are saying is that I love what Juliet said, because funny enough, it was the very day before I was thinking about it, and I say, so you look like the PNP is really just an experiment. It's like they're trying things. So just like how you hear the policies that they come up with right now, Damien Crawford come up, add 2 more hours to teacher. They're not even thinking about how this is going to affect teachers, how this is going to affect students. No, man, just come up with something. You understand me? Damien, Dayton, put some tax over there. So like Peter Phillips. Today something came out in the Gleaner. They talk about Patty. Ian Hales alive on the stage again, an overpriced thing. So some of the people in the comments have said, but wait, then the PNP did put taxes per Patty, taxes per cigarette, per everything. It's like they don't understand. The reason they cannot come up with policies is that they've never had good policies. They never won on policies. They won on sloganism. They won on populism. They won on the things that make the people them feel good for a while. Them party with the rent, that's PNP. You see them a run all over the country now. I talk about them a blood and fire comrade. How blood and fire even come in politics, man? Right? These people's concept of politics is different. These people's concept of politics, a lot of them is like being a part of a cult. Even those who come from PNP and still cannot see a way that PNP cannot win are still there bemoaning the old PNP days that mash up Jamaica. So as a true Labourite, one of the things that you must understand and you must believe is that PNP's been a problem for Jamaica long before Mark Golding and Peter Bunting came on the scene. We've lived under that, and we don't want no more of that. You understand me? I said to you, I had some people, Father Paul, I have somebody I'm going to call before. I'm going to get some comments from this individual, and then I reach back out to you if you're still available. Let me see. You understand me? I'm going to let somebody join the conversation right now. Let's go. You understand me? So we don't want no more of this PNP experiment in a Jamaica family. Let me connect this to the speaker. Make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. I'm seeing 303 available right now, and I'm only seeing 84. Double tap your screen right now, and that will register as a like. Get me to 150 likes right now, family. You understand me? Hey, fam, what's going on?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, family. Well, how you doing?
I'm okay.
All right. You know, hear me talk about things that one if I lie or true. Eh?
A true man.
A true me attack.
Yes. So I remember as a child, Jamaica was just fine after independence. Jamaica was doing just fine. The economy was just fine. Under Hugh Shearer, I remember people didn't want US dollars because US dollar was only 65 cents. That's how good the economy was under Hugh Shearer. And then there's one thing that Michael Manley and Mark Golding have in common. Their dad.
Oh,
their dad.
Yeah.
So the people start saying, Norman Manley's son come from college, he's very educated, he come to make a change, better must come. And so a lot of JLP voted for him.
Come on now.
And he was very popular. People loved him.
Yeah,
everybody was going crazy over him.
Girls and sugar.
I remember one lady said she shake Michael Manley's hand and she didn't wash her hand for 2 weeks. They just idolized him.
Jesus.
And he was popular, but he did not know what he was doing. He didn't have the experience in running a country. I think he meant Jamaica well, but then there are a lot of things that he did wrong because he didn't understand the economy, and that was when the dollar started to devalue. And then he come up with this thing, he's saying to people, go capture land, anywhere you see land, go plant, and all of that. And then he borrow loan and lend farmers money. And a lot of those people that he lend the money, they did not even go back to bush. They took the money and they buy car and all of that. So all that money went down the drain. So there was no production for that money. So it started devalue and devalue and devalue.
That is it.
And then that was when Edward Seaga came on the scene of action. And then Mr. Seaga, he knew what he was doing.
That's
because
right.
He was educated, he studied politics, he knew about economy. So he tried to fight with the country.
That is
but
it.
then the popularity
Yes.
of Michael Manley.
And even and then Gilbert came right before Gilbert came at the end of this. Right.
Yeah. And even when Gilbert came, he tries back to get a lot of donation, and he tries best. But the popularity is like Jamaican people, when you say politics, they can't see beyond PNP and JLP. And then PNP then become like a religion.
That is it.
Yes, he came in now and he get all these guys together. And remember that when he sent those brigadista thing and all of that.
Try turning a communist place.
Yes. And then the PNP activists now start to get contracts. And when they get the contracts, it's like PNP was a church all over Jamaica. They had this thing that they call the PNP group meeting. Like every Wednesday night or every once a month, people was meeting all over Jamaica. And they pay dues and all of that. And then whenever anything giving out like fertilizer, zinc, anything giving out, road work, anything given out, they always, when they go to the meeting that night, that is when everybody name go down. So on the paper. So like when you hear the road work going on and you go out to get work, you can't get no work because the name them just sit down in the group meeting already.
That is it.
So therefore, they would recruit people in the community, and because people know that they will get benefit, they join this thing. So the children at PNP, one man said down to him, dog in them yard at PNP. So therefore now, people would never vote for JLP. It doesn't matter. You have some people, me could have go vote for Labour right. You understand? There's Labour right as a stigma. You understand? And then the next thing again with Jamaica, they don't recruit people for office based on competency. Because as you know, Jamaica is a class country. You have to be in certain class. So even they don't give people even commissioner of police, all different kind of thing. They don't give you based on competency. They give you it based on your popularity and people what in your society and all of that. So therefore now, sometimes a member of parliament, a young member of parliament would go into politics. If you notice, most of the young member of parliament, as they go into politics, they come out back. You ever notice that?
I've seen that.
Yeah, because a lot of them, they go into politics because they study and they're intelligent, they're bright, they study politics, they know what is politics, and they go in there with their best intention to make a change. But those all politicians that is in there with their own ways, they stifle them, and when they see that they can't like use their talent or anything, they have to come right out back.
My goodness.
If you know.
Well, I know, I'm glad you touched that point, because one of the things I notice is that them are recruit the ladies. Them, by the way, big up to the comments. The comments is here talking to us. People are agreeing. Somebody said this lady has her finger on the pulse, hitting accurately, right? We see Mark Golding, him have Damien over there make a fool of himself. Andrea make a fool of himself. Him have the young ladies, them, where him recruit and so on. But what they don't understand, is that a lot of them, they will not get the chance to represent or to make the kind of change. They will not be able to influence the party to do a lot of things. It's like how Andrew work with them MP, them and him work with them people, them and she not gonna come out about the infighting in the JLP. They work together. If them have them problems, them try to keep that problem and them fix it, and they keep working and they have that united front. We are saying a lot of them, they're not going to get this chance. Let me take a couple of comments right now. Erica says PNP is a cult organization. Black Obsidian says, so true. I watched an interview with Manley. They asked him if now that he knows better, would he have done anything different? They say he beat around the bush, and pretty much he would have said yes, but he never wanted to answer it. Because one of the funny things is too, a lot of people are still holding on to 1970s Manley. But what they forgot was that Manley was trying to change, to work with the business sector, and to work with the IMF and all of these people. He tried to do that. So Manley realized that he made a mistake. But our black people, we are of such that we want to hold on to the mistakes that Manley, it's like we want to praise Manley for his ideals and his philosophies, rather than look at what's, what is delivered and what is produced by the government. So we are saying Juliet Holness is the best prime minister Jamaica has ever seen. And he's the best. The man has self-control. Look at the accusations that came against him. This man is now the leader of CARICOM, right? The results that he has produced, the best prime minister. And a lot of us, we don't want it because even our own black people, them, family, them hold the class thing against we, Like me know enough people, they will face it with me, because me black and me look like me not come from nowhere. But they will run behind Mark Golden. You understand me? We have his hand in their back and pants and all of them, something there. They will run behind Mark Golden because even the black people weaponize black people. And by the way, speaking of Juliet Holness, me see what some of you all cruff have to say about Juliet Holness whenever anything come out, including this very article that I'm basing this show on. I see the negative commentary. I see how no describe how no class Juliet Holness all Judas in a Jamaica where run behind PNP. And I like to do these shows, because me go call them for what they are. All Judas, need to remember, said Juliet brighter and more beautiful than enough of them. Why Mark Golden no carry up film wife and make sure you open her mouth? I know when I hear Sandra, I tell we when I beat up Sandra, but we are saying, no, hop off of Juliet Fender. Right? That is the woman that the leader, the best prime minister in this country has ever seen. And by the way, remember, say Beverly Manley teach Manley enough things too, So there is even that too, You understand what I said to you? So we don't want to come like we don't want disrespect and violate the prime minister wife. That is a beautiful black strong woman and a full-time someone who clown down there where run behind PNP. We don't understand that and put some respect for Juliet name, and that's what I'm telling you right now. Talk to me, family. You understand me? You still there? How are them cigar? You look like cigar. You understand me? But I have a butterfire pound. You understand me? No, stop disrespecting Prime Minister wife. That me I'm telling you right now. You understand me? I said to you. Yeah, man. So let me see if Father Paul is still available and see what he wants to say on this topic right now. You understand me? I said to you. Voice. By the way, thank you so much, fam, for jumping in and talking to me. I really appreciate that. You understand me? I said to you. So big up the caller. Father Paul, what's going on? Are you there?
Yeah, man, I'm here.
Yeah, man. So we're live right now. So I just ran through the history because I say I wanted to analyze, the detriment of the PNP experiment from Manley to Mark Golden. So I established that pattern and trend. What do you have to say on this topic?
Well, looking at it, again, the problem, part of the problem is that, the people don't like the history. They like to deal with just the here and now.
Right.
And, Marcus did one about these things, that if you don't know your history,
right.
You're bound to repeat certain parts of it.
True.
That is what has happened. We've repeated it, and we're hoping that 2025 we're not going to repeat it. Okay? The thing about Jamaica, and I was looking at this regarding Singapore. What did Singapore do different from what Jamaica did? The first thing that Singapore did different was, well, first of all, they came and they saw what Jamaica was doing.
There we go.
But they took it back home and they modified it in one way. And what was that one way? As long as power is gained by voting, you're going to have a competition for power. And the competition will not work out for the people. So the first thing that Lee Kuan did was go back to his people and say, listen, I want to build something, okay? I want us to build something, and I want it to last. This is not something that's going to happen overnight, but we'll need to trust each other to build something. And the first thing he did was to suspend this whole business of elections. Because if you're a fledgling, if you are new, if you're just born, just get independence. What are you competing for? Everybody need to put shoulder to the wheel and move forward.
That is it.
And this is where it went wrong. Because there was always an upset in the PNP that Manley, Norman Manley, was the first premier. Meaning he was premier, he was the leader before we got independence.
That is it.
When we got independence, based on how the story goes, it is that he and Bustamante worked together to get us this independence. But again, the truth sometimes hurts. Bustamante turned around and formed his own party. And by doing that, it set off this whole thing of competing. So even though we were doing well under Bustamante, right? And there are stories out there about Robert Lightburn and certain policies he had, which were not right.
Which were not right, or what? Because somebody...
He had some policies that were not right. Okay? For those people who want to go and dig it up, right? There's a thing about a 5%. Okay? Right? And as a result of that, he fell out of grace.
And this is a Lightburn that wrote the national anthem, right?
Yes, same Robert Lightburn.
Okay.
Right? He was the Minister of Industry and Commerce. But there is a argument that he was called the 5% man.
You explain that to me though, because we're not talking up.
So the 5% man was that any contract that come into Jamaica need to get 5%. We need to get a cut.
Oh, that was said.
Okay.
Was that true or was it a rumor?
Again, like I said, these are the stories that tell you. Yes, he was great at bringing in industry.
Right.
But apparently he was bringing in industry and getting a commission. Right. Okay.
Right.
But
we don't know that to be true. We don't know that to be true though, but that was said.
Well, again, like I said, these are the stories.
These are the stories. Okay.
And we know that in Jamaican parlance, if it not goes so,
it nearly goes so. Yeah, but knowing PNP, hold on though. So, but knowing PNP's history though, we can know. By the way, speaking of Lightburn, somebody reached out to me. By the way, I had a strong conversation with the individual behind the scene because of the approach they took. But one of the things this person wanted to challenge me about was that, listen, this NHT thing, that was not Manley's idea. It was Robert Lightburn that came up with it. And there were some other policies as well, maternity leave. So I asked him, so whose administration was it implemented under? Him say, well, he has to admit. So there are certain things we won't know, and that's one of the things I do. I don't try to dig into things that we can't prove. You understand me? I said to you. Okay. But you say all of that happened.
Let us take that for what it is. It is easy to see how those kind of things can cause jealousy, because what the PNP turn around and did now. Remember now, when the JLP started, Bustamante was a trade unionist. He was for the working man. But when we got independence, the truth is, it was Tapanari's people really who were making the strides. The poor people, the poorer class, were still suffering. All the PNP did now was flip the script on them through the workers, their union, and go after the very same people who Bustamante initially was representing.
So PNP, the PNP has always prioritized politics over everything else.
Yes.
So what we're not gonna do. So here's where we're not going with the conversation, because I ran through those parts of the conversation for a reason, because I wanted to look at I wanted to analyze, not to explain, or to, you understand me, do an expose on what's going on. I use analyze for a very, very different reason, to show you how certain events connect today. So what we're looking at, Where we're keeping the conversation, my good friend Father Paul, is we've looked through the errors, right? So one of the questions we have to ask ourselves, just as Juliet Holness said, you understand me? She said there is no way that we can bother with this PNP experiment thing because we've seen, and I've explained some of that, we've seen how that has cost us as a country. So given all we know, you understand me, from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. I don't think any of that because I think I would have given a summary. Digging into the details of what influences or who on the JLP side was doing one thing on PNP side. No, we're saying that this is the culmination of, so everything that we're dealing with now informs the kind of PNP we're dealing with today, which is I describe as political demagoguery. So the question is, we kind of understand just by giving those snippets from different parts of history how we got to where we are today. The question is, how do labor rights proceed, especially in light of that major mistake that was made in 1989, looking at that very, very critical election, seeing that there's a lot of similarities between where we were at that point and where we are today. How do we now chart the way forward to ensure that we don't make the same mistakes? That is where I am driving this conversation. So I don't know if you can come there with me or you have to dig into the history. You understand me?
Well, it's very simple. It's not a hard thing. How do we move forward?
Right.
We have to be finished with this whole party business, and we need to be choosing Jamaica. How do we move Jamaica forward?
How do we finish with the party business and move Jamaica forward? So for instance, let us in 2025, hold on. In 2025, we have to say there's no way but to vote Labour, right? 2025 and beyond, what do you think that needs to look like? Because if you're proposing the Singapore model, I'm going to tell you off the bat right now, I don't think that's something we're ready for. Right? It sounds good. One of the things, you see, this is kind of like what we dealt with in Manley time, you know. There's one thing to have ideals and wanting to pull off those political ideals. The next part of what we have to look at is what are we working with today and what can we make of it in the foreseeable future? Right? So what do you think, Jamaica? So we have to vote JLP coming into this election. So for those people who still believe that we need an opposition or whatever, we really don't have an opposition party. We have a set of people who they're just trying to win power and to basically go back to where they are. But the question would have to be now, what should Jamaica look like after the third term is won in order to, for us to now build on this whole idea of choose Jamaica or people choosing Jamaica. Because I can tell you, nobody not choose Jamaica right now. PNP have blood and fire comrades and JLP have to choose Jamaica. And that's what Jamaica there right now.
So the way to move forward is quite simple, in my opinion. The JLP need to come out, well, all the supporters need to come out and hand the PNP such a backsliding that there will be no PNP left.
I like that.
Okay?
That's my vision.
That's the first thing that has to happen. The second thing must happen.
Yeah.
This is where now we will see true leadership.
Yeah.
Okay? Instead of us now just having it all 63 seats being JLP. We have that. Okay? What we then do is look amongst the PNP to see if there is anyone in there who is not drinking the Kool-Aid, who may have a good idea. Because one thing the PNP is good is that they have lots of ideas. It's a think tank. But they do not know how to implement.
I don't know. It's not. So some of their ideas are bad too, as ideas. So
no. They have some good ideas in terms of, but in terms of the implementation, they don't know how to implement. You understand me? Like, for instance, they feel like you can just give everybody a house. But who is going to build these houses? Who's going to build the house?
Somebody's asking you what kind of ideas. what? What? Remember, I know you can't just.
I give you one of their good ideas.
Right.
One of their good ideas was this whole business about no bastard, no death. That is the best idea they ever had.
Oh no,
Because
we're talking about in the current environment, though.
No. But you see, this is the thing. If that was not cleared up then, many of us would have suffered now.
2025, though, we have to look at the 25.
In 2025, we would still be suffering with that.
I understand.
If all the children who are born of unwed parents,
you don't need to explain that, Father Paul.
Would have suffered.
We're looking at the. Remember what we said, and again, I was trying to avoid this.
This is the reason. This is the reason why we will only be able to just win the election and just keep going flip flop.
I don't agree with that assessment. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. So the question we're asking you is this: what good ideas has the PNP presented in 2025 that we can implement, you understand me, that can make things better for Jamaica as a whole? Because I'm not going to reason on the basis of having an ideal Jamaica. We're not there right there. We're dealing with the political climate as it is right now and how labor rights ought to be thinking going into an election. So do you have anything for the ideas that we're looking at right now?
Steady. What you're not realizing is that many of the ideas that Andrew Holness is implementing are PNP ideas. They were in the pipeline.
We understand.
He didn't come up with a lot of these things. Are not new things.
All right.
He's implementing many of the things that they didn't know how to implement.
Somebody's asking, where is Manley's bastard children? No, we understand that in a Father Paul, but what we're not doing is that I am not reasoning from an idealistic standpoint. And I understand that there are things that, but here's the thing, here's where we differ a lot. And I'm not trying to debate because we're getting to the end of the show because we're close to the 1 hour mark right now, right? But and it's kind of like what the person said in my comments. The person said that, this was Manley's vision. So I said, do we credit Manley's vision equally with the man who, you understand me, ran with the entire thing? Now, there are things that Manley had over there. You also have a very brilliant JLP, and there are some things that Manley put everything out there. You understand me? But in no administration was the PNP ever able to bring any of these ideas into fruition and make these things successful in their administrations. So where me come from, you don't get a lot of credit for that. You understand what I said to you? Somebody says, steady, we are growing and very soon we will be near some of those first world countries. Yes, but my thing is this. When I'm communicating, I want to understand what step-by-step process we have in mind. You understand me? And say, for instance, if we're looking over PNP, what will a lot of things look like? That's a conversation we're not ready to have in an election year. Let's win this election, and that's why there are some conversations I don't have now that it's election year, right? And there are some conversations I put on the back burner because we have to look at how we fine-tune things as we move forward. So that's just my philosophy on it. But I don't know if you're going to answer the question, are there any PNP ideas in 2025?
Like I said, the first thing we need to do is we need to decimate the PNP at this election.
Yes, man.
That's where our energy needs to be. That's the first thing we need to do.
Yes, man.
And all I am simply saying is that the second step is we need to, out of the ashes, we need to find something in there, because if not, you're going to have too much bitterness in the country, and you can't move forward with that bitterness. That's all.
Okay.
So even though we beat them badly, okay, leave them with 2 or 3 seats, if any at all. But when you finish,
that's not going to happen, though. That's not going to happen.
Bandage their wounds and see if you can find anything in the ashes.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
And then we can move forward.
Yeah. PNP not coming out with no 2 seats. You understand what I said to you? And we know that traditionally. That's why I say I don't I don't speak about politics in ideal terms. I look at what we're looking at. There's a lot of things that probably would distinguish between the Jamaican people and the Singaporean people, and and again that will inform how we make decisions. You understand me? One of the things that we know about our people is that the hardest thing for us is to get us to work as a group. A lot of other races and nations, they understand that. So to tell me that in the next 5, 6 years we will be able to work as a group and resemble something like Singapore, I think you're sounding a little bit like Manley in this case. But that's my opinion. And I think
No, but I'm not saying that at all.
no, I didn't say you say. I'm just saying to say. I'm just
I
pulling your
know,
leg.
but no, but I am not saying that, and I'm
Yeah.
not thinking that either.
I would like. So in
Okay.
other words, if we're talking, so if we're not looking at 6 years down the line, 10, 15 years, we're not there yet. I think when we win the election, then I've already had this. I already have it on the agenda, right? Win this election, and then let us start examining a lot of things, because we're gonna need to look at the PNP side and all of that. But it's just that me, as I say, I'm a production guy, so I have no time now to be looking idealistically. What I want to make sure is that we don't make that mistake again, because that mistake was made before, in 1989, for many different reasons, and that's where we are. We're not going back to that place. You understand me?
You
So
see in the chat,
yeah.
Lifestyle said, Holness is implementing ideas on the books from all administrations.
We know this.
That's
We know
that's
this.
all we're saying.
But you're not
Yeah,
saying
so
anything. I never. But you are her not
just
saying it.
said.
All right, Father Paul. Here what we're going to know. We are at the end of the show, and we never said. I never said they never took ideas. You understand me? I said to you, we never argued along that line. But anyways, I don't know if you have any final thoughts for us, sir. I'm gonna close off the show right now.
No,
Take a
good,
couple
we're good,
comments.
we're good.
Big up
Shower,
yourself.
mister.
Big up.
Shower.
Shower. Big up yourself, Father Paul. You understand me? Let us look at some comments and then we will close it off. Black Obsidian, the ideas that we are making, the ideas that we're making up now on the fly, on the campaign trail, them they're not going away. Exactly, such as what Damian Crawford is trying to do. We know that there are other ideas that them have out there. We're not going to run with Mark Golden trying to build anything on any swamp either. We're not going to run with the bus idea. We're not going to run with any of those things. You understand me? Anthony C. Mister, some of the things that JLP is doing now were on the cards from the 1960s. And see, there, same thing. My thing is this, and if I'll repeat it, right? The PNP does not get, and they were saying that the other day, they might hold them ideas, want the JLP to take them. But listen, if it's a good idea and it will benefit the people, yes, run with the idea. But the PNP does not now get to, absolve itself of all the foolishness and the experiment that they put you through and put you through the turmoil and the conflicts because they had good ideas. No, absolutely nothing like that. We're still saying they were never able to implement these ideas, which speaks to their whole issue with being able to execute when they are in government. And we see how they do when they are in government, right? So we're pinning them to those things. But a wise government is going to look at both sides. You understand me? We saw where Andrew Holness credited Peter Phillips and Portia for at least the fact that when the IMF and everybody cranked down on them and said, have to follow these guidelines in order for us to deal with it. They did it, and then JLP came and perfected it, because JLP again was the party that puts good ideas. Andrew Holness said to him, if you have good ideas, bring them to me and I will implement them. The PNP will have to become a better party than a party that comes up with ideas, right? So we see the half ideas and we beat them up for that. But even if it's good ideas, until they become the kind of party that can not just come up with good ideas, but implements good ideas and make that benefit, and the net result is that Jamaica benefits from it, then they need to sit down and go back to the drawing board and learn from the JLP. So the JLP will have to be the model for how politics is in the near future. And then if we can build on that to a better place, then we do it. Somebody say, we're gonna We're going to protect the gold. Thank you very much, Krista James. Somebody said, why didn't they implement the ideas during their 18 years? Thank you very much. You understand me? The ideas were never implemented by the PNP. They are the pipeline government. Thank you very much. So what we have to do, as I used this analogy on a show before, and I said, listen, you can't just get credit because you point out the best restaurant in town. Right? As a man, you feel a woman, I tell her, you know, say, you have a restaurant down there, son, and the best steak you will ever get, and the nicest steak you ever get. You gave her that idea. For instance, you're not a date, you probably talk to somebody, a date, two individuals. You understand me? Another man come and him say, listen to me, let's go try this place out. And he bring her in there and she get to try a new steak or her favorite steak or whatever. You cannot give the man who show you the restaurant the same credit as the man who take you up and bring you there and show you that experience. That's what we're saying. We're voting on the experience that we've had under the JLP government. And I dare say, for all of the money we PNP rob up on thief in this country, if we can steal all their good ideas, I would say steal it and modify it too, right? And make it work for the Jamaican people. Because it's full time, the PNP understand that the government is not about winning elections. Government is about serving the people. You understand me? So I'm getting ready to close the show. Let's hear what the people are saying. There simply needs to be a new PNP. Absolutely wife style. Absolutely. Right? Andrew should be the first president. That would be great. You understand me? MDL, exactly. I am so annoyed when I hear that argument. What did she say? MDL, why didn't they implement? Exactly. You understand me? So somebody said we need to send the law. Father Paul said we need to send the loudest possible rejection to the current PNP by electing the JLP in a super landslide. I agree with you, Father Paul. You understand me? So family, what we're saying is JLP, I have to talk to my team, you know, my team JLP. Just treat election day as that day. Remember this. I thought about this the other day. Let me share it, right? On election day, the people become the government, right? Andrew is no government on election day. The JLP is not government election day. You understand me? Just to put it out there to you. On election day, the people become the government because the people get to decide who will lead them. The people get to choose who will lead them. That is what no matter how great Andrew is, no matter how great the administration is, the people get to decide who will be the government. And the PNP, they understand that, right? We're just saying that for the people who will be voting, just understand that if we fail to vote, right? And we're going to beg the PNP them, as we're looking at, by the way, let me do the survey before I close the show. I have some survey results that I want to look at, and then I'll close the show. Right? PNP, conscious PNP, stay on the yard. Just like Juliet Holness said, stay on the yard and don't nobody go out on election day if you don't know, say, on a really not voting for anything of substance by voting for any PNP. All right, let's pull this up, the steady show. Let's look at the surveys. By the way, thanks to everybody who take the surveys. If you are new and you haven't subscribed as yet, please go ahead and subscribe to the show. If you have not yet hit the like button, please go ahead. We can get way more likes than this. Double tap your screen and give us the like, right? Let's look at our survey. So, survey yesterday, I'm seeing 1,000 votes on this one. It says, which of these factors will be the greatest in helping the JLP to win the third term on election day? You understand me? Somebody, 2% out of 1,000 votes, and I'm sure it's more than 1,000. 2% say PNP poor performance. 5% say many do not like Mark Golden. 7% say people love Dr. Andrew Holness. And 86%, you understand me, say good performance by the JLP. I love that. Big up to the people them who took that survey. 86% of the people them say it's good performance. So the one of the best things we can do in the near future in a Jamaica is to seriously start voting for performance, not for personality, like we saw under Manley them, not for slogans, you understand me, not for catchphrases, but for performance. We have a better Jamaica that way. So I asked this question again. Less people took it, but we still have 557. I said, do you believe that many what is called real PNP supporters will stay home on election day because they do not support the current leadership of the party? Well, 24% said no, they're not gonna stay home. 76% says yes. I don't know where folks like that they get their information from, but it doesn't seem like we have a very convincing amount of PNP who are going to stay home on election day. So the Laborites, whether Laborites or a PNP, I take it. The best I can say is make sure, when you go out there and vote. And conscious PNP, I know some of you are out there. Want to make sure, when you find yourself in this situation again, where you give the PNP 5 more years to experiment with our future, our children's future, and our grandchildren's future. You understand me? Steady family, thank you so much for showing up. Green at the chat right now, because that's straight third term we say. Third term, put it in the chat. Hit the like. Thank you so much for joining the show. I wanted to talk about it with us today. Green at the chat family. Hit the like button right now. Win election. Win election. Turn my lord. 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 Big up family, have a great night. Thank you.